Bobby, or whatever the devil his name was, burst out the youngest. "Stephanie, my dear!" exclaimed the eldest. Olympia smiled and shut the door behind him with a soft click. He stepped toward the center of the room and stopped before the first chair. "Louisa, dear child, how well you look in spite of everything." He took her hand and squeezed it. "A very great pleasure to see you again, Your Highness, after so many years." "Oh, Uncle." A blush spread across Louisa's pale cheeks, and her hollow, blue-eyed gaze seemed to fill a trifle. "You're terribly kind." "And Stephanie, my dear scamp, do you know, I recently met another young lady who reminded me very much of you. It made my old heart ache, I assure you." Olympia reached for Stephanie's hand, but she instead released the dog, sprang from her chair, and threw her arms around him. "Uncle Duke, how perfectly sporting of you to take us in. I knew you would. You always were such a trump." Stephanie's arms were young and strong about his waist, and he patted her back with gentle hands and laughed. "You always were the most reckless girl in that damned cow pasture of a principality you call home." "Holstein-Schweinwald-Hunhof is not a cow pasture, Uncle Duke." Stephanie pulled back and slapped his arm. "It's the most charming principality in Germany. Herr von Bismarck himself pronounced it magnificent, and dear Vicky—" "Yes, of course, my dear. I was only teasing. Quite charming, I'm sure." Olympia suppressed a shudder. Bucolic landscapes made his belly twitch. He turned to the final princess of charming Holstein-Schweinwald-Hunhof, the middle child, quietly soothing the corgi who was yapping and whining by turns. "And Emilia," he said. Emilia looked up and smiled at him behind her spectacles. "Uncle." She placed the corgi on the rug and rose. How old was the girl now? 23, 24? But her eyes looked older, round and owlish, improbably ancient amid the clear skin and delicate bones of her face. Her hair gleamed golden in the light from the single electric lamp on Olympia's desk. The other two were handsome girls, constructed on regal lines that showed well in photographs, but Emilia's beauty was more subtle. It ducked and hid behind her spectacles and her retiring nature. A scholar, Emilia. She could parse her Latin and Greek better than Olympia himself. A strain of genius ran through the family blood, and Emilia had caught it in full. "My dear girl." Olympia caught her hands and kissed her cheek. "How are you?" "I am well, Uncle." She spoke quietly, but there were tears in her voice. "Sit down, all of you. I've ordered tea. You must be exhausted." He motioned to the chairs and propped himself on the corner of his desk. "Did you make the crossing last night?" "Yes, after sunset," said Stephanie. "I was sick twice." "Really, Stephanie?" Louisa was sharp. "It was the licorice," said Stephanie, sitting back in her chair and looking at the gilded ceiling. "I never could resist licorice, and that little boy at the quayside." "Yes, quite," said Olympia. "And your attendants?" "Oh, they were quite all right. Sturdy stomachs, you know." Olympia coughed. "I mean, who are they? Can they be trusted?" "Yes, of course." Louisa shot a reproving look, not the first, at Stephanie. "Our governess, who, as you know, has been with us 1,000 years, and Papa's—" Her voice quivered slightly. "Papa's valet, Hans." "Yes, I remember Hans," said Olympia. He focused his mind on the memory. A burly fellow, not the most delicate hand with the neckcloth, but his eyes burned with loyalty to his master, whom he had served.